So if you don't count kind of game week, if that's its own entity, you're probably about halfway through camp. What do you feel like you've learned so far?
Well, we're starting to find out, who we can trust, who's productive, who understands the defense. Guys are doing a much better job with the physicality of the game, understanding the fundamentals. So that's been good. We've got to get much more consistent in our technique and in our communication. But kind of like you expect halfway through camp, kind of like my voice is. It's a little rough at times, but we're getting progress.
Consistency seems like something you're always striving to get. So if that's really the big focus for you right now, is that kind of a good thing? Does that say you're kind of on course?
You're always striving to be 100%. You're probably never going to get there, but that's the standard. And guys got to understand that standard won't change. And getting guys to communicate, getting guys to understand where the fit is with the guys around them is really critical to our defense. And the more you do reps, the more plays that we see from Coach Moorhead's offense, he can really stress you at times and stress your rules. And so our guys need to be put under that crucible of stress.
What do you get out of these competition reps? It sounds like you guys are trying to get more of those every day.
Yeah, you can't just talk about football. You got to actually go out and experience it. You have to create that pressure situation for them to be able to experience it in practice so that they can go out and execute during a game. If the first time that they have a stressful moment is during a game, we've done something wrong. So Coach Cristobal does a great job of keeping that heat on, putting guys in coaches in pressure situations. Coach Moorhead and I, we won't know the situation during a practice, and we'll go turbo, and Coach will tell us the situation, and you just got to call it off the top of your head. So it's been really good for us coaches, as well as for our players to understand in those situations what type of calls they'll be hearing.
After the scrimmage, Coach said Braden was one of the players, or maybe the player who made the most progress. Talk about him a little bit more, and I transitioned, I think, a little bit positionally for him.
Yeah, Braden Swinson came off a really nice spring. His body has changed from last fall. He's leaned down. I think that's really helped his pass rush, and yet he's still been pretty stout in the run game. So, you've got Mace and KT coming back. Adrian's having a nice camp, but Braden's right there where we're always trying to develop depth where there's not much of a drop-off from our ones to our twos to our threes, and he's battling to be a starter for us. And so to have that competition is going to keep everybody sharp.
Does he play both sides for you? Or
yeah, that's one of the advantages that he has. He's a very bright football player. And so most of our guys, we had at one position this spring, and we're flipping to the other side to develop the depth, to see who can handle both. And then as you get into a season, and you're going to have attrition, who's going to be ready, to play as a next up guy. And Braden can play both positions. In a given week, he'll need to, lock into one, but he's got the physical ability to do both and the mental capacity.
How do you like how your twos and threes have developed at that linebacker position, just building that depth there?
Same thing, where, it was tough losing Jackson because he was having a nice camp. But again, we're in a next up situation. It's good to see the competition with Drew and Noah and Justin. They're all in a heated competition. And then you've got, the next group of guys. Keith Brown's doing some good things. You got Nate Hukalani has been solid. And now, we're starting to have Jabril take a look at inside as well. So I like our depth. We've got talent there. We just got to get that second group some more reps to get that experience up.
For Justin, what stood out the most about him, especially the reviews that we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks have been pretty good as far as his readiness and health?
Well, yeah, he looks really good out there. He's running around. He's an explosive football player. He needs reps, like most of our guys that are young. He needs to be put in that experience where he's running around, he's tired, he's got to think, he's got to communicate, he's got to execute, the defense when you're not feeling 100%. And that's what he's got to go through. But when he does, know what he's doing and goes fast, he's noticeable on that field.
A lot of the focus has been on Justin, obviously the linebacker position, but what kind of progress have you seen from Noah this year, this offseason?
I think Noah's practicing as good as anybody on our defense right now. And every time we turn that tape on, whether it's guys making strip attempts to take the ball away, whether it's guys pursuing the football, whether it's guys finishing a tackle, he's almost always on the example tape. And I think it's just a really nice testament to him and Coach Wilson getting him to that point. But the intensity with which he practices at really sets a high standard for everybody else and sets that bar where everybody's got to go play at his level.
Is there any separation between Triquez and Dante for the other starting spot, or is that pretty knotted up?
Yeah, it's competition right now. Coach Cristobal's talked about this. We're in an organization chart at this point. We're not a depth chart. It's just ordering the reps. I like where both of them are. I thought Triquez made some really good strides in the spring. I think with our depth there right now, he's taking advantage of the extra reps in order to get better. His length obviously helps him, and he knows that he's got great competition with Dante being a really talented player. So as coaches, it's fun to see that develop.
When you talk about a lot of the mix and match and same as concepts on the edge in particular, does Braden Swinson kind of personify that a lot for you in terms of the Joker and the Sam and the capability of doing, and even DN and 4-eye and all that?
Exactly. He's a guy that's got a lot of tools in his tools chest, right? And he's got the mental capacity to handle those things and the physical tools to do it. So a guy like that, you can bounce from 3 and 4-man fronts. If somebody goes down, he can be that next best guy in at whatever position.
Does Trevin have some of the same tools?
Yeah, he's really come on. Not as explosive at times in the pass rush. We got to continue to develop that there, but he's as stout a run defender as we have at the edge. And I really think he's playing with more confidence, really doing a nice job setting edges, and at times he's doing better in pass rush.
Barkin's got targeted quite a bit for obvious reasons, but he got targeted.
Go at McKellar, the rookie.
But hey, but he got a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
What did you see from him in those opportunities? Because it wasn't like he got beat on every time.
No, really impressed with his mentality. He's a guy who's fairly laid back, kind of quiet, and so you wonder when you get put, in the spotlight, how are you going to respond? We've got really good receivers and a really good set of quarterbacks that can get the ball out. And to see him make plays last night, and he's been making them all camp. You're not going to make 100%. You never are as a corner. But to be able to bounce back when you do give up a play and not let it get you set back mentally was fun for me to see him make that growth and that development in his game.
I know you're never going to rest on your laurels from a scrimmage, but was it satisfying to see that your group play so well against the first team offense in particular?
Well, I was pleased with our guys playing hard and physical. We have a lot of things to correct and a lot of things to clean up. But if we will play hard and fast, we'll give ourselves a chance. And that's what I was pleased with on Saturday.
How have you handled just on that edge position when you had 3 of the top 4 at Sam out in one way or another, last week? I know a couple of them come back, so that's part of it, but just have you just dealt with, is it a lot of just co-teaching in both positions, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, what you do is you got to continually develop depth. Football's a game of attrition. It's next man up mentality. And so, when you've got older guys, that have some tweaks, younger guys get extra reps. And so it's really helped the development of those young guys. We got a chance to see, what Buck could do. Get a chance to see what Terrell Tillman can do. They're not ready for prime time yet, but it's, I think, really further their development because they're getting those extra reps.
Thanks, Coach.